here's what's awesome about being an Astros fan is that the regular season is the preseason. It is your God-given right to start the first round of the playoffs in the American League Championship Series. I love that about this team. It is very reminiscent of a team I grew up rooting for. And it's why it's been so easy to jump on the bandwagon and be the biggest whore of a baseball fan that anyone's ever seen.
Grew up a Red Sox fan, rooted for the Astros here, moved to Seattle, started an affair with the Mariners, and then moved back to the Astros.
The affair's not necessarily over, but, I am feeling very happy.
Yeah, see, it's not even over. What is wrong with you?
Call me a dog, and that's fair enough. A little Temple of the Dog action
there
for
you.
This Angels team has obviously a couple of awesome bats in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, but really what I'm looking at this series for is for the Astros bats to get going, and you get closer and closer to the end of the dress rehearsal, which again is this regular season and this stretch, Vanessa, that you've outlined a couple of times being so easy. I hope that this is the series where we start to see this team scoring 5+ runs a game.
We're going to get to the player of which Paul misses the most in a second. Let's do a little Yankees Watch 2022.
Yankees Watch. Yankees! 2022.
Hey, Vanessa, I ever tell you about the time my father left me outside a bodega?
Forget about it.
He told me he was going to go get a couple packs of cigarettes, and I never saw him again.
Astros.
Well, I have a new daddy. You know what his name is?
What's his name?
Bums me out. He's abusive. He beats me.
This is a good voice.
He hits me all the time. I'm talking about Carlos Correa.
Oh.
This gabagool over here, coming out with the Minnesota Twins. He's kicking my ass. He's hitting eighth inning home runs. This guy, he's making web gems out there. He's hitting doubles. He hit another home run in a big spot. Well, I don't think much of the Twins, but goodness gracious, am I thankful this guy ain't on the Astros anymore. It sucks to have an abusive father, of course. My father, Carlos Correa, get the hell out of town. Go Bronx Bombers.
There's your Yankees Watch 2022. They have definitely struggled the last month. It has been a one-man offense with Aaron Judge, of course, chasing Roger Maris's home run record. But you do miss Carlos Correa. You brought this up. Why is that?
Look, just seeing him do things against the Yankees. I know he didn't have a ton of hits in that series. I think he goes 5 for 17 overall in a 4-game series. But he did have 2 home runs. He had the clutch home run last night. He had a double, nice web gem on Wednesday. And it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Obviously, if you're going to keep Carlos Correa around, you were going to have to pay him a lot of money. And you probably wouldn't have had certainty either, even if the Astros decided to match the offer that Minnesota gave Correa. There's no guarantee that he's going to be around next year, and you would potentially be standing in the way of a very cheap, affordable young player in Jeremy Pena who can get better and better. But for this team that is in win-now mode, that begins the playoffs in the American League Championship Series, I really would like to see Carlos Correa back on this team. And I did a little comparisons. It's not like it's a massive gap between the two, but Correa's been very steady for about a month and a half with an OPS of 770 to 800 over that stretch. He has half the errors of Jeremy Pena, and Pena's leveled out after a rough July and August. He was so awesome in May and June. You figured that couldn't last all year. 7-game hitting streak before the last game against Texas, so that feels good too to see. But there is a part of me that feels like we're going to miss Carlos Correa in the playoffs. And I know health's always a concern, and that he would be a lot of money and in the way of Pena, and that what the Astros did was actually the correct move. I just know that watching him against the New York Yankees makes me miss him.
It's easier to root for Carlos Correa because he didn't go to the Yankees. He didn't go to the Dodgers. He didn't go to the Cardinals or any team that the Astros have a really strong history against. That makes it easier to root for him from afar. I don't care that he's with the Twins now. Seeing Carlos Correa succeed against the Yankees is always going to feel good.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah. I know we can't officially claim it, but as a cheap baseball whore,
well,
maybe I can. Can I be a Twins fan too?
No, you can't have.
They're non-threatening.
You cannot have the fourth team that you've rooted for
whatever.
in your life.
At this point,
You're like
you
my
are what you
uncle
are.
that got married for the fourth time, dude.
No, I think at this point, I'm just a guy who's going through his midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's what my uncle is. I'm not going to say his name. Shout out to my uncle who I love.
Let
but
him
4
have his
marriages
midlife
is
crisis.
a lot.